Hello students, in today's class we are going to study linear equation in two variables for class 9. However, this particular video will be equally applicable for the students who are in class 10 because the base of certain portions from class 10's chapter depends on this particular aspect. Okay, now as we all know, the word linear equation is there available since class 7 itself. So in class 7 we had linear equation in one variable. In class 8 also we had linear equation in one variable. Now in class 9 one more variable will be introduced. So in this particular chapter, let me give you an example. For example, in our case, uh, let the cost of 5 pens and 12 pencil be say 540. Okay, so here 5 pen and 12 pencil, the total cost is 540. So when we are taking single variable, we'll write let the cost of one pen be x, and then we can go ahead. But in this case there are two variables, the number of pens and number of pencils, both are unknown. So we'll say let the number of pens be x units, and number of pencil be y units. Okay, so our equation will be something like this: 5 into x. Why? 5 pen into cost of 1 unit. Okay, plus 12 into y, that is 12 number of pen into y, which is the cost of 1 unit. Total becomes 540. So this is a linear equation in two variables because there are two variables and this is an equation. Now let me ask certain questions. First thing is equation versus identity. This is a little off track thing, but it's equally important because we are generally confused. What is the difference between an equation and an identity? In equation, we have equal to sign, obviously, but in identity also we have a equal to sign in between. So what is the difference between an equation and an identity? Let us try to understand with an example. Example of an identity is what? A plus b whole square is a square plus 2ab plus b square. Example of an equation is 5x plus 12y equal to 540. Okay, so what is the difference between these two? Difference will be for any value of a and for any value of b, the left hand side will always be equal to the right hand side. Okay, so that is why this is known as an identity. And in case of an equation, for example, 5x plus 12 equal to 870. In this case, there will be only one value for x that will solve the equation and give a value to it. Okay, so here lies the difference between equation and identity. Okay, now another thing I wanted to explain here. Now we generally say linear equation. Now when the expression on the left side as well as the right hand side, when the highest power of the variable is equal to 1, like for example 2x plus 7y plus 3z equal to 14. Now here x is a variable, y is a variable, z is a variable. These are three variables. The highest power of x is 1, highest power of y is 1, z is 1. So the highest power itself is 1 in this case. So in this case, each variable will have one such value for which the equation will be satisfied, where x, y, z, all three of them will be taken care of. Let us take an example. Like for example, 2x plus 7 equal to 54. So in this case, what will happen? There is a value of x, okay, and there is only one value of x that will be solving this equation, okay. So at the most there can be only one solution. But if you look at a quadratic equation where the highest power is 2, okay, in this case, since the highest power is 2, there can be at the most two solutions for a value, for the value of x. So that means at the most for x there can be two values, okay. If the highest power is 3, at the most three solutions are possible. And at the same time we also need to look at the number of equations that would be given, okay. So let me not complicate the things further. The only thing we need to remember here is linear equation means there will be one value of x for which one value of y will be satisfied, and there can be many such values of x for which only one value of y will satisfy, okay. So there is another word called root of the equation. What is root of the equation? Basically it's same thing as solution of the equation. For example, 5x plus 7 equal to 12. That means 5x equal to 12 minus 7. This implies x equal to 5 by 5, which is equal to 1. That means the root of the equation for this case is 1. And how can we represent this root of the equation? We can represent it on a number line if it is a linear equation in one variable. So this would be the root of the equation, okay. This is how we represent it on a number line for a single variable, okay. Now when there are two variables, how do we represent it? That we are going to study little later by Cartesian planar system, okay. So we'll be going to that in a while. Now the main genesis of this particular chapter for class 9 is your way of expressing a linear equation in two variables, okay. So the format looks something like this: ax plus by plus c equal to 0. So the first aim, or rather the first portion in this chapter, talks about this: how do we represent the variables? X is a variable, y is a variable, a, b are the coefficients of x and y respectively, and c is a constant. Let us look at an example. Suppose 2x plus 3y equal to 17. So we'll represent it this way: 2x plus 3y minus 17 equal to 0. So the value of a will be equal to 2, b will be equal to 3, and c will be equal to minus 17, okay. So I think it's pretty easy now. How do we represent the linear equation in two variables and what would be the values of A, B and C. So exercise 4.1 deals with this particular portion only. Now in this particular portion of exercise 4.1, the question mentions from NCERT book that the cost of a notebook is twice the cost of a pen. So what will we write? Let the cost of notebook be X and cost of pen be Y. Now what they are saying, the cost of a notebook is twice the cost of a pen. That means X equal to 2Y. Okay. So this is the linear equation in two variables. Okay. So how do we write it in standard form? X minus 2y plus 0 equal to 0. Here our A is equal to 1 because in front of X there is 1. Our B will be minus 2. C will be equal to 0. Okay. Next we are going to find solution of a linear equation, obviously in two variables. So let us take an example of equation 2x plus 3y equal to 12. Now for every value, as I had told earlier, for a value that we place for x, there will be only one value of y. For example, if we take the value of x as 0, so what will happen? We'll put the value of x equal to 0 over here. So 2 into 0 plus 3y equal to 12. This implies 2 into 0 is 0, 3y equal to 12, 3 goes on the other side, so y will be equal to 12 by 3, which becomes 4. So if x's value is 0, y becomes 4. What if x is equal to 1? Now if x is equal to 1, I'll place the value of x as 1 and we'll try to find the value of y. So this becomes 2 ones are 2 and it goes on the other side. So we'll have 3y equal to 12 minus 2. This implies y equal to 10 by 3. Okay. So when the value of x is 1, the value of y is 10 by 3. So similarly, we can have many such values of x which will have a corresponding values for y. Okay. So in this case, we can conclude that a linear equation in two variable has infinite many solutions. So in this particular portion in exercise 4.2 in NCERT book, basically this particular chapter will portion will deal with finding a value for putting the value of x and getting a value for y. Okay. So the question may be like find two solutions for the following equation or find 5 solutions for the following equation. So let us take an example. Let us take an example of 4x plus 3y equal to 12. So I think possibly we already took a similar example. Okay, so we'll do the same way. When x equal to 0, then what happens? 4 into 0 plus 3 into y equal to 12. This implies 3y equal to 12. This implies y equal to 4. Okay. When x equal to 1, then what happens? It's not that you have to take 1 itself. You can take 2, 3, 4, anything. 4 into 1 plus 3y equal to 12. This implies 3y equal to 12 minus 4, that is 8. This implies y equal to 8 by 3. We can have another value, say when x equal to say 3, then what will happen? 4 into 3 plus 3y equal to 12. This implies 12 plus 3y equal to 12. This implies 3y equal to 0. This implies y equal to 0. Okay, so x and y, what values are we getting? When x is 0, y is coming as 4. When x is 1, y is coming as 8 by 3. When x is 3, y is coming as 0. So I found 3 solutions. Okay, if they ask for more solutions, as in 4 solutions, you find one more value. Okay, now let us take exercise 4.2. Say question number 1, that which one of the following option is true and why? Y equal to 3x plus 5. Okay, it has a unique solution, it has only 2 solutions, or it has infinite many solutions. As we just learned some time back, that a linear equation in 2 variables will have infinite many solutions. Okay, so option number 3 is correct. Now in question number 2, they have asked write 4 solutions for each of the following equations. So the same way, the way I explained some time back, 2x plus y equal to 7. So put a value of x equal to 1, x equal to 0, 2, 3, any such four values for x, and find the values of y, and those are the solutions as for x and y. Okay. Now question number 3 says check which of the following are the solutions for the equation. Now here you would see a way of representing the thing, like representing the value of x and y. So they have represented 0, 2. In class 8 we have already studied about graph system. So this is x, this is y. Okay, so this is x-axis is value and this is the value of y-axis. So generally this will be x and y in all the cases. So this means if the equation is x minus 2y equal to 4, so they want to say when the value of x is 0 and the y's value is 2, is this equation correct or incorrect? So let us put the value 0 minus 2 into 2, and that will be equal to 0 minus 4, which is minus 4, but the right hand side is plus 4. So LHS is not equal to RHS. Okay, so we can check the other solutions also, that 2 comma 0, will it hold true or not? So similarly we can check other values and we'll get the answer that which values of x and y will uniquely be a solution to this. So remember one thing, for every value of x there is only one value of y in this particular linear equation in 2 variables. Okay, now the next portion we are going to study is the geometrical representation, or rather graphical representation. Geometrical is not the correct word completely, graphical is the correct word. So till now we had done the algebraic way of representing the thing. Now we are talking about the graphical way of representing. So in class 8 we have already studied x and y axis. It was represented in a box format, and a particular value was there. Based on that, the frequencies were mentioned, and we used to plot it on the graph. This used to be the x-axis, and this used to be the y-axis, and we used to plot certain points, and we could have joined it this way. Okay, so the same thing we are going to do in this particular portion, as we had studied in exercise 4.2, that for every value of x there is a value of y. That is a solution to a particular equation. So first, if a equation is mentioned, we'll put the values of x and we'll get the values of y, and then we'll plot these values onto the graph. And once we plot those points, we'll see that the joining of all those points is always a straight line. Now this is the reason why it is known as linear. Linear means straight. So that is why it, since it forms a straight line if we plot all those solutions. So suppose this particular point is say 3 comma 1. So 3 comma 1 can be a solution for this equation, which is a straight line. It can be a solution to another straight line also. It can be solution to another straight line also. So any particular value for x and y can be solution to many different linear equations. Okay, and in class 10 we are going to study that when two different such equations meet at a point, they give a unique solution, and that unique solution we are going to find in class 10. Okay, so in this particular portion in exercise 4.3, it is about representing the equation on graphical format. So the question in one is x plus y equal to 4. So what we'll do, we'll find the value of x and y. Okay, generally see, to form a straight line, 2 points are sufficient, but just to be more sure, keep at least 3 to 4 points. Okay, so let us see, when the value of x is 0, y will be what? Y will be 4. So this is 1 point already we are having. The easiest way is put any one value as 0, the other one will be easily found out. Suppose if the value of y is 0, then x will be 4, or vice versa. If x is 4, y will be 0. So 2 points we have already found. Okay, third point could be when x is 1, then what will happen? This 1 will go on the other side and it will become 4 minus 1, 3. Okay, so y will be 3. So these 3 points are sufficient to plot the things. So on x-axis we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this I've just done it little randomly, but you are going to use a scale to plot these points. Okay, this is of course 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so when the value of x is 0, the value of y is 4. Okay, so this is our 1 point. When the value of x is 4, the value of y is 0. Okay, so this is another point. Okay, so when the value of x is 1, the value is 3. Okay, now if we join them along a straight line, if we join these 3 points, of course it won't be this kind of crooked line, it would be a straight line actually. Okay, and what is that equation? X plus y equal to 4. Okay, so this is about exercise 4.3. Now in Exercise 4.4, it talks about slightly more different thing, but it's related to the graphical representation itself. It talks about equation of line parallel to x or y axis. Now, as we know, this is x and this is y axis. So, when the value of x and y are 0, this is the point. Now, suppose the value of x is 1, and in that particular equation, whatever is the value of y, the value of x will always remain 1. Okay, so in that case, what will happen? You keep changing the values of y, but x will always remain 1. Okay, so this kind of equation can be represented as x equal to 1. That means whatever be the value of y, x will be 1. So graphically, how do we represent it? See, x equal to 1. So how are you going to write? X plus 0 into y, okay, minus 1 equal to 0. Remember the way we had represented linear equation in two variable in chapter 1. So the value of a is equal to 1, b is equal to 0, and c is equal to minus 1 in this case. Okay. So as we can see, there is a very interesting thing that comes out. Now, x equal to 1. We can clearly see the value of x is 1 over here. So if we draw it on the number line, suppose this is 0, so this will be the value. Okay. However, if we plot it as a linear equation in two variable, it becomes a different game altogether. The value of x is 1, and so it will pass on like this. Okay. So x equal to 1. So y's value can be anything. Ultimately, it gets multiplied with 0. So it is like x plus 0 into y minus 1 equal to 0. So whatever be the value of y, the value of x will always be equal to 1. Okay. So the same thing, if it is represented as linear equation in one variable, then it is shown on number line like this. If it is shown as linear equation in two variables, it becomes something like this. Okay, the same equation in two different ways. Okay. So that is about this chapter. Now solving these things will be done in class 10, where we'll be seeing whether a solution is unique or it has infinite many solutions or it has no solution. Graphically, algebraically, everything would be done in class 10 itself. But this is the basis on which everything would be done in class 10. Okay. Thank you all. And if you have any queries, please feel free to write it in the comment, and I'll get back to you with the solution to those questions. Thank you.